Hello, kids. I'm Tom Ballard. I'm a comedian. I used to be on Triple J, and I'm going back to school with Student Edge.
Hi, I'm Simon Murata, and today I'm going back to school with comedian Tom Ballard.
Yay!
Thanks, Tom.
Hi, Simon. Pleasure to be here.
Pleasure to meet you too. Now, what kind of kid were you?
Oh boy. I was fat, pale, and in the closet. And what was I like? I think my parents are both sort of teachers, come from a teacher background, and I had an older brother, Gavin, who was extremely intelligent and quite good at sport as well, and reasonably popular. And so I think there was just an element of sort of self-belief and confidence that my parents very kindly instilled in me. So I loved books, I loved reading. I did my first amateur musical in my hometown of Country, Victoria when I was 8. Played the role of Blitzen in Rock and Roll Santa. You probably heard about it.
Yeah.
A lot of buzz. And as soon as that happened, it was just like, oh, I love this. I need attention. It's not like my parents didn't give me enough love. I don't know why. Apparently I need more love than two adults can give you. So that's why I do what I do now.
Now, I have to admit, I didn't hear about your performance as Blitzen, but the blogs are aflutter with your performance as Edmund in The Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe.
Wow.
Now, can you tell me about this debut?
That was Brower. The high school was called Brower College. Shout outs. Brower Amateur Dramatics, and they put a play on every year, and they did Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe. I did Edmund. And this is how fame hungry I was. Like, there was a moment during a performance when I was maybe playing up a little bit, like just chewing the scenery and stealing focus from the play. I don't know how you do that as Edmund, but there you go. And at one point, the teacher had to take me aside and say, "Tone it down." Like, this is at a high school production where normally kids are like, "This is stupid. I don't even want to do this." And they were like, "We need less from you, Tom, in this role." So. Yeah, the theatre, the school I went to, high school I went to, Broward, does have an amazing arts program. They do a musical and plays, and I did both drama and theatre studies in my year 11, 12 year, which is ridiculous, really, just completely unnecessary. But I loved it. That and also this local amateur theatre group, musical theatre group in Warrnambool called Holiday Actors, which was kids rehearsing over their summer holidays to put on a musical in January, which is as sad as it sounds. But in that world, it's amazing, and I've made friends there for life. So Alex Dyson, who I did Triple J Breakfast with, we both did those musicals together.
All right.
Yeah.
Sorry, I was just thinking that director who said "tone it down." I only wish they had directed the all-white high school production of The Wiz I saw a couple of years ago. That was the direction that really needed to be imparted. All these kind of performances that you were doing, were these the ones that galvanized your belief that, okay, this is actually what I want to do as a career, or did that come a bit later?
Yeah, no, it was sort of, even after that first musical, 8, I was like, I want to be an actor, and quietly, I did think I was perhaps the greatest actor of my generation. It was De Niro than me. And so that was just in my head, so I wanted to learn everything I could about NIDA or like VCA in Melbourne, and I was like, right, this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to do theatre and as much theatre as I possibly can. At the end of high school, I'll audition for these schools. I will nail it, and then I will become a theatrical and cinematic genius. Get to the end of high school and audition for acting schools and don't get into any of them. Dreams are crushed. There are tears. There's drama. And then I moved to Melbourne and sort of keep doing stand-up comedy, and Triple J's shown an interest from my stand-up before, and we sort of kept going that, and then I kind of follow that route. But I mean, the career and the creativity stuff and the world of comedy I've just fallen in love with so much. So, at the time it felt like a failure, but I think it totally worked out for the best.
Knowing that was still your goal at the end of high school, to get into those acting schools or to keep entertaining and doing real comedy, was it hard to stay invested in your schoolwork? Was it hard to stay invested knowing that my career is kind of heading in a different direction?
Yeah. I think there was probably some part of my brain that was like, I'm not going to need this for my Oscars speech, so why am I wasting my time? And my mum was a careers teacher as well, so there's that just looming in the back, like second options, backup options, just a constant mantra of that in the background.
Is that what played into you dropping out of uni after doing 6 weeks of a law degree?
No, that was sort of more. So I finished year 12. I got into this law degree. I deferred for a year. In that year, I moved to Melbourne, started doing a lot more stand-up. And then 2009, I started the law degree. I was doing weekend breakfast on Triple J, and I did my first Melbourne Comedy Festival, which went quite well. I won the Newcomer Award, and I got management. So there was a point there where I was like, I can't do these things. I can't do radio, stand-up, and uni at the same time and do them well. Uni was intense when I started. It was like, you know, I probably went from being quite a big fish in a small pond kind of vibe from a country Victorian high school where I did well academically, to then being in a law course in Melbourne where pretty much everyone was smart as well. Everyone else was, you know, in the top 10% of their high school or whatever to be there in the course. So yeah, that was a big adjustment, and just so much more reading and so much more kind of autonomy, which is awesome. That's like a cool part of uni, but can be quite intimidating when you're used to people telling you need to be here at this time, you need to read these chapters, and yeah.
Sure.
Yeah.
Just going back to high school again, on a personal level, was it a positive experience for you in country Victoria?
All in all, I would say yes. I mean, I think I am lucky. I didn't come out till I was 18, so sort of right towards the end of my high school. I sort of came out to myself in year 10, so when I was around 15, 16, there was a moment where these thoughts that had been kicking around my head for a very long time, and my noticing of other dudes was present. And I really didn't want it. You know, I didn't want to be another gay actor. Again, my acting career feeds into everything. But I was like, you know, I don't want this. I don't want to be different. You know, I'm going to be a famous actor and marry a Hollywood actress. You know, I'm not gay. It's ridiculous. So yeah, there was sort of a turning point around 15 where I kind of realized that. I think I was really lucky. In my year 12 year, the kids in my year really came together. Just really grew up suddenly, out of nowhere. Everyone, you know, people are turning 18, I guess they can vote and drive cars, and so you're compelled to be a bit more adult. And there was this sort of lovely coming together where people kind of just accepted people, you know, the same things that would have given you a hard time years 7 through 11, people sort of embraced. It's like, oh, that's just his thing. There was one guy in my year level called Wes who just loved trains. Loved trains. And for years we were like, check out the train nerd. And then year 12 was like, Wes loves trains. Awesome. Keep loving trains, man. You love trains. I don't like trains. Good luck to you and your trains. It was a really lovely thing. And, you know, towards the end of the year, I really loved, you know, both my friendship group and generally I thought we were a really good group of people. And even, you know, coming out, my close friends who were, you know, country dudes who love their footy and have certainly said a bunch of homophobic things in passing when I was growing up, which, you know, feeds into this constant culture that being gay is bad to me, were beautiful. We're very accepting and lovely and very supportive, and since then have been nothing but great. So, yeah, very, very lucky. But certainly a whole bunch of moments in high school where you think this is and you're overly stressed. To me particularly, I was doing lots of extracurricular stuff with the SRC and public speaking and travelling and acting and that kind of thing. So, yeah, a lot of stress there. And yes, you know, hormones going crazy. Year 9 should just be nothing. Just go camping and don't try and achieve anything. Just learn how to make bread, or, you know,
14 is the age to go walk about. And
just nothing gets done year 9. It's a joke. And you hear about some schools who have like a year out, and I know that's like an expensive thing to do or whatever, but honestly, it will be better for the economy and for everyone's attitude towards school. Because year 9, everyone's just going insane, you know, with hormones and getting sick of being told what to do because they're starting to get a bit rebellious. So I just think year 9, just take everyone out and go to the beach for a year.
I'm sure the 14-year-olds of the world actually would quite like that theory. So
Revolution! It begins here at Student Edge.
What is your one piece of advice, if you could give it to a student or even to yourself at age 15, 16, that you wish you something you wish you knew about your future that could have helped you in that time?
You know what? It's conflicting advice. It is two things. It is life is long and life is short. Life is long. You have so many ups and downs. The sky doesn't fall in. The test of being a human or being an adult is about dealing with problems and working through them and not overreacting to things and accepting things that you can't change and working on that. At the same time, life is short, and we're lucky to be alive, and you're lucky to have everything that we have being a young person in this country at this point, and doing anything that you don't want to do, that you know you don't want to do, is silly.
Nice one.
Yeah.
Thanks so much for your time, Tom.
Thanks, Simon. Thanks, everyone.
Hey guys, if you enjoyed that video, click here to subscribe to our YouTube channel, or find more of our stuff at studentedge.com.au.